The 5 races of giants in the Bible. The giants mentioned in the Bible have always sparked curiosity and fascination. Even those who are not familiar with the sacred texts of the Old Testament have heard of these colossal creatures that once inhabited the earth in ancient times. What many people don't realize is that the giants mentioned in the Bible didn't belong to just one group. In fact, there were several different tribes and family lines. All of them came from the Nephilim, mysterious hybrid beings born from the union of the sons of God and the daughters of men. Each of these giant races had their own special traits and played important parts in biblical history. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at ancient writings to uncover the truth about these strange and powerful races of giants that appeared after the Great Flood. You're about to discover hidden facts that most people have never heard of. If you're curious, give this video a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Don't forget to send this to friends who are also fascinated by the ancient biblical giants, and come along with us as we explore the mysteries of the distant past. Now, without wasting any more time, let's dive into the secrets of these mighty beings who once stood against kings and whole civilizations. Before the flood, the origin of the giants. The biblical giants make their first appearance early in the book of Genesis, in chapter 6, where one of the most intriguing accounts of the scriptures is revealed. The text states that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful and took them as wives, creating a hybrid lineage of beings known as the Nephilim. These massive beings, often described as giants, lived on earth before the Great Flood. And, surprisingly, they appeared again even after the flood had passed. But who exactly were the sons of God mentioned in the sacred scriptures? To understand this, we need to look at the original Hebrew word used, Ben ha-Elohim, which in Aramaic is B'nai Allah. Both of these terms are commonly linked to angels or heavenly beings. This strongly suggests that the giants were the result of a union between human women and fallen angels. Angels who had left their place in heaven and turned evil. In other words, these giants were the descendants of ancient demonic beings. The book of Genesis clearly explains that before the flood, these giants increased in number and spread fear and violence across the world. Their influence played a major role in the corruption of humanity, which led God to bring judgment through the flood. Yet the same text also mentions that after that time, referring to after the flood, they appeared once again on earth in a mysterious way. So how could this happen? Many experts and religious teachers believe that the fallen angels did not stop interfering with humans. Instead, they secretly entered human societies, influencing ancient cultures and creating a new generation of Nephilim. There are also stories of these dark beings having relations with priestesses of idol-worshipping religions who praised ancient gods. The Bible often teaches that these so-called gods were not just made-up idols, but real demons hiding behind false identities, looking for people to worship them and give them power. We can find signs of this influence in both historical and biblical accounts. For example, in the story of Moses and Aaron in Egypt. The Pharaoh's magicians were able to perform amazing acts, like turning their staffs into snakes. This wasn't just simple magic, it was a clear sign that a dark spiritual force was working behind them. So the giants weren't just enormous beings with great strength, they were also reminders of a heavenly rebellion, a physical result of the fallen angels' corruption. And even after the flood, these beings continued to leave their mysterious mark on the history of mankind. After the flood, the return of the giants. After the flood, a new generation of giants reappeared on earth, spreading across various regions of the Middle East and beyond. The Bible mentions these colossal creatures as warrior tribes, many of them established in strategic territories, challenging entire civilizations and becoming one of the greatest obstacles for the people of Israel. The Holy Scriptures indicate that at least 5 different races of giants lived in the region, spreading from the Levant to Mesopotamia, and even as far as ancient Egypt. These giants had children, and their descendants settled in areas that today are known as Israel, Iraq, Syria, and other nearby nations, building powerful settlements and large, heavily protected cities. One of the most powerful stories about these giants is found in the book of Numbers, chapter 13, when the Israelites were sent to explore the land of Canaan. They were overwhelmed with fear after seeing the descendants of Anak, one of the most dreaded tribes of giants. The spies described the Anakim as massive and terrifying, so huge that the Israelites felt as small and helpless as grasshoppers standing next to them. The story also points out how strong and large in number the Canaanites were. Their cities were strongly built, well guarded, and protected by these mighty beings that seemed to have otherworldly power. But who exactly were these 5 giant races? Where did they come from? And what do their ancient names mean according to the people of that time? The Raphaim or Rephaim, giants from the realm of the dead. The first and main race of giants was the race of the Raphaim or Rephaim. Since time immemorial, stories of giants have pervaded humanity's ancient records. Among these colossal creatures, one race stands out as the most feared and enigmatic, the Raphaim. In the singular, they were called Rapha, but their collective designation evokes something beyond mere physical might. The word Raphaim, in both ancient Hebrew and Phoenician, has a dark and serious meaning. It doesn't just refer to huge people, but to beings that were somehow connected to the world of the dead. The word itself hints at something eerie, like ghosts that roam among the living, or creatures that are no longer truly alive. Old traditions passed down through generations say that these giants were wiped out by the Great Flood, completely destroyed, erased, and thought to be gone forever. But strangely, many years later, they appeared again. What could possibly explain their return? According to ancient stories, the answer lies in the actions of the fallen angels. These beings, worshipped as gods by some early civilizations, once again came down and had children with human women, creating a new group of giants. The size of the Rafaim was so extreme it's hard to even imagine. The Bible mentions one of them in particular, Ogi, the king of Bashan, who was said to be about 15.5 feet tall and nearly 6.5 feet wide. And he wasn't the only one. This shows that the other Raphaim were also massive, with similar sizes. They were like living mountains, giant beings made of flesh and bone who walked the earth like terrifying gods of war. The Anakim, children of those who fell from the sky. The second race of giants that walked the lands of Canaan and terrified many was the Anakim, the feared sons of Anak. Unlike the Raphaim, whose name evoked the world of the dead, the Anakim carried in their name a troubling revelation about their origin. The name Anak wasn't just an ordinary name. It actually gave an important hint about where these huge beings came from. The word comes from the ancient Sumerian language, where Anak or Anakin means children of those who fell from the sky. These giants weren't just known for being massive and strong, they were believed to be the direct offspring of powerful beings that came down from the sky. These sky beings were the same ancient gods that were worshipped in old pagan religions throughout the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. Some researchers estimate that the Anakim stood between 11.5 and 14.5 feet tall, and there are even stories that say they were as tall or taller than the Rafaim. The Emim, giants of fear and monstrous appearance. The third race of giants, the Emim, ravaged the lands of the Middle East and spread terror throughout the Levant. Deuteronomy 2:10-11 describes the Emim as a people great and numerous and as tall as the Anakim. Rabbi Rashi explained that the word Emim can be translated to mean fearsome or monstrous. These beings were not only giants because of their size, they also caused deep fear wherever they appeared. The Jewish historian Flavius Josephus wrote that the Emim had a horrifying scream, similar to the roar of a lion. It was a loud, deep and harsh sound that could make even the bravest soldiers freeze with fear. The Emim were not only frightening because of their strength, their twisted and strange appearance combined with their terrifying behavior made them seem like walking nightmares, monsters that looked like something out of a dark dream, roaming among human beings. The Zuzim or Zamzummim, the strong and robust ones. The fourth race of giants, the Zuzim, sometimes called Zamzummim, were mentioned in Genesis 14. These beings, whose name in Aramaic meant rigid, strong, or robust, were known for their strength and resilience. With a height ranging from 10 to 13 feet, the Zuzim were powerful and intimidating warriors who moved across the land like giants from ancient legends. But their reign of power eventually ended when Chedorlaomer, the king of Elam, launched a military campaign that crushed many tribes. Among them were the Zuzim, the Zamzummim, the last of the giants. Finally, we come to the Zamzummim, the last race of giants mentioned in the Old Testament. Little is known about them, but they were said to inhabit the land east of the Jordan River. Like the Zuzim, they were tall, strong, and fierce warriors. They ended up in a serious conflict with the descendants of Lot, especially the Ammonites, who eventually defeated them and took over their land. Some researchers believe that the Zamzummim were a smaller group within the larger Rephaim family, which suggests that this bloodline extended through what is now known as Jordan, Syria, and Israel. These were the 5 races of giants mentioned in the Bible, creatures of massive size, frightening strength, and mysterious beginnings. They left traces in ancient writings, old stories, and even in the remains of ancient places, clues that still spark interest and raise questions to this day. I hope you enjoyed this video. May God bless you, and I'll see you soon.